Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Steve Jobs. So just because this is a movie named after a person, don't expect your regular old biopic here. I really enjoyed this film, and I loved the new, fresh take they took on telling someone's story. So first of all, this is a very fast, briskly paced film. I loved that we moved. That it wasn't just, a retelling of birth to death kind of film here. I loved the editing, I loved the pacing, I loved the directing. All of the technical aspects of this film were great. And on that note, all of the on-screen talent was very, very strong as well. Michael Fassbender, amazing. What else do you expect from him these days? But he really was fantastic. He had intensity, but you felt so much more behind the scenes with his performance. You felt a lot of subtlety mixed with the exaggeration of the intense Steve Jobs, the perfectionist that he was. Kate Winslet, I didn't love her accent. I think it waned a little bit throughout the film. But overall, the actual acting aspect was really fantastic. I thought she was wonderful, and I thought that Kate Winslet and Michael Fassbender had a wonderful, wonderful chemistry. Jeff Daniels is amazing here. And this is really his second turn as a great supporting actor this year after The Martian, but I think he's even better here. He's given more to do. He's given a meatier role, and I would be very surprised if he doesn't get a Best Supporting Actor nomination at the Oscars, honestly. He was that good. But so was Seth Rogen. I thought he was fantastic in this movie. I loved it. I saw his name on the credits and I was like, oh, here we go. But he was so good. And after seeing things that I thought were terrible, like The Interview, getting to see him in a good light yet again makes me hopeful for the comedies to come. But I thought the writing was really well done. And as I said, the way the movie is formatted is so great. I think this is akin to Get On Up from last year, which was a James Brown biopic. But this film centers on press releases, on opening nights, and pretty much the events leading into those opening nights. Now, I'm not completely sure if these are actually how it happened, but if this is how these openings and reveals actually happened, Steve Jobs is very accurate in that last one and just being like, wow, does everyone really have to just open up and say everything they've been thinking for the past few years right before we're going to launch a product? But it was just a really cool device of making sure we stayed on track, because Kate Winslet made sure we stayed on track, kept everything moving fast, and kept you in an exciting, fast-paced environment. Now, I did have a couple of problems with the film, and the biggest one being the ending. I didn't like the way it ended all that much. I thought it was just, I don't know. It fizzled more than I think inspired, which is what it was intended to do. And it just kind of left you feeling, okay, cool, when the rest of the movie had you feeling much more excited and much more enthused about what it was you were watching. I also thought some of their devices were very strange. Putting some of the words on the screen and then, displaying, he would be telling a story. And a story completely unrelated to the actual company or anything in the film. And he would just display video on the wall and stuff like that. I also don't know if I was a fan of the flashback scenes. I think we were moving at such a cool, brisk pace that there wasn't too much of a need. I mean, there was a lot of exposition in the actual stories and the actual dialogue and discussion, that the story was interweaved into the conversation. And I don't think we necessarily needed to see, that moment in time. And there was a lot of jumping. Since it took place on 3 launch dates, they filled it with actual footage, which I didn't really love, but it worked okay as a device to just move you forward to the next launch. They used literal news clips as exposition to get you from point A to point B to point C. But overall, I really liked Steve Jobs. I love that this was a human story more than an accomplishments story. We did get the scope of Steve Jobs' career. Failures, successes, the whole shebang, what he did. But it wasn't about Apple as a brand. It wasn't about computers. It was about Steve Jobs. It was about him as a person, his experiences, and his interactions with those closest to him. And it did what so many other biopics fail to do. It focused in on key relationships and key moments and knew the story it wanted to tell. And I think that's why it's such an effective and straightforward, impactful film. It accomplishes what it needs to accomplish. It's not here to tell you Steve Jobs' childhood and tell you, the days leading into this. No, we don't need that. You can kind of talk about some of the things in conversation. We don't need all that. So, overall, I definitely give Steve Jobs a full price ticket. It's not necessarily like an event film or something that needs to be seen on the big screen, but it's such a well done, well made film that at the very least, give this your matinee money because it deserves it. So, that has been my review of Steve Jobs. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Have you seen Steve Jobs? And if not, are you excited to see it? And what is your favorite biopic? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!